Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have a lovely couple. Their name is Ben. Ben is from England and Benja is from Argentina. So let's see what they have to say. Enjoy the interview. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
Very good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview. Thank you very much.
No, it's
No,
a
of
pleasure.
course.
So before we start, tell me who is Ben and who is Benja?
Ben Benja.
Benja. Okay, perfect. Right, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I'm Argentinian. So I've lived in the UK for about 7 years now. And I met Ben, who's from York in the north of England, about almost 4 years ago now.
Yeah,
Right.
Yep,
and we've been together ever since.
we've been together ever since.
And Benja, why the UK?
So, to be fair, it was very much work related, career related. I had a few, not job offers, but a lot of offers to interview for a lot of jobs. And my brother was already living here. So at some point, it kind of makes sense. It was an easy transition. My brother was here. I had a place to stay. I had, again, a lot of interviews lined up. So it worked, really.
I see. How about you, Ben? What do you do for a living?
I work for the railway.
Tell me a little bit about your job. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm working in the sort of marketing team, and yeah, trying to get more people to ride the railway, basically, get out of cars, not fly, you know. So yeah, always looking to the future and you know, thinking about this kind of net zero world that we want to get to. And you know, rail is one of the most environmentally friendly mass transit, you know,
Amazing.
out there.
Very good. Right, so just before we start our journey, William and the Magic Box, how did you guys meet up, if you can share?
Yes,
Yeah.
we actually met online. We met through one of your regular gay dating apps. We were living in different cities.
Yeah.
So Ben came over to the town where I was living for a drink, and we had a 3-day long day first date.
Yeah, for 3 days, and then we've pretty much seen each other pretty much every day since then.
Oh, sweet. And before we start our journey as well, I would like to tell a little bit about your podcast, Bareback Podcast.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so it was something that we started during lockdown, and we wanted to do something together, and we wanted to do a podcast. We've both done broadcasting in the past in various different forms, and we thought, you know, we don't just want to just me and you just chat, because that's not going to be interesting. So we kind of worked it into what we know best, and that's the two cultures that we come from. You know, we don't argue a lot, but when we do argue, it's usually around some kind of cultural inconsistency. So we kind of put that into a podcast form, and it seems to have worked because people are listening to it. So we must be doing something right.
And Benja, mainly about the podcast, what people, they listen to the podcast, what's the main reason? What's the people expecting of the podcast?
So I think that people find, I think that a lot of people who listen to us can identify in one way or another, particularly with the fact that I'm a foreigner. Living in a different country. I think from the messages that we have a lot of people, a lot of our listeners are actually in the US, and a lot of our listeners are sort of people who are not American. So we have some friends there that are Canadian, Mexicans, people from Japan, so people from Europe that has moved into the US. So I think that they kind of relate a little bit to the struggles of navigating a different culture. So basically, I think they relate to that struggle, and I think they also relate to our relationship, because realistically, everyone kind of knows someone in some degree, a friend or their partner and so on, who is from a different country. So they do navigate those cultural differences in their regular life, and I think that a lot of them gonna listen to us and say, "Oh yeah, actually, I've been through that." You know?
That's interesting, very interesting. And saying that, Benja, actually, I've done already over 500 interviews around the globe, and you are my first guest from Argentina.
First Argentinian. Popping your Argentinian cherry.
Right, so are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much.
Right, so welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my lovely box full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question.
Okay, I like to move.
That's
I am moving. Are you moving, Bob?
Yeah, I'm moving. You can see me.
right, so just before we start the game, so through the journey, if there is a question that you don't have an answer for, don't want to talk for some reason, always can change, okay?
Brilliant.
Who'd like to start first? The first question. Who'd like to go first? Okay, Benja.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Benja, first question for you is, what was your favorite thing to do as a kid?
I loved going to my grandmother's house. And the reason for that is my grandmother used to pick me and my two brothers up. Then we used to go to Buenos Aires and pick my two cousins up. And she would spend the whole 3 months of summer with the 5 kids. And we used to have the best time together as a kid with my cousins. It was literally just being outside all day, just playing with our cousins and with the friends in the village where she lived. That's my absolute favorite childhood activity and one of the fondest childhood memories I can ever have.
And where in Argentina you come from?
So I come from a city called Rosario, which is about 300 kilometers from Buenos Aires. So it's in the little bit like the center north of Argentina. So it's a fairly large city, about 1.5 million people.
Quite big.
Yeah.
Right. Ben, for you now, what was your favorite part about school?
Oh, to be fair, I loved school. I loved school. I think it has to be drama. I loved drama class. I loved performing. I still love performing.
You like drama as well?
So, yeah, for me, it was probably, along with my friends and some absolutely incredible teachers, but I loved drama class.
I see. Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Right. So now let's start with Ben now. Next question is, good question. What is the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you?
Well, I have to say, I think it was our second or third date, Ben cooked for me. Benja cooked for me. And it was all his kind of favorite Argentine dishes, which I'd never tried before. And he got like a really nice Malbec and set the table beautifully, lit the candles. And I was just blown away because Benja is an amazing, amazing cook. I'm making his head bigger, I can imagine.
Yeah, and he's big enough already.
But I was just blown away and I cried. I did cry, didn't I?
You did. And
sweet.
Yeah, because it was so lovely. Like I think my previous partner, I think on our second date, did something out of a tin. So this was just kind of like, wow. This was like beyond my wildest dreams. And I was like, if I didn't already know how much I liked him, I was like, I definitely want to keep this one.
And it has to be said, you also drank the red wine, and you don't normally drink red wine.
I don't normally drink wine. Yeah.
Ben, you got him for your abilities of cooking. Good one.
Of course. That's the way to a man's heart, its stomach.
Absolutely.
Benja, next question for you is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Oh, that's a difficult one. So I know that people tend to get very, very sort of familiar with this answer, but actually I'm going to go a little bit of a different way. I think that one of the most influential persons in my life was one of my first bosses in one of my first jobs when I was working in the manufacturing industry. And the reason why is because he taught me that a company's interest and your personal interest need to match. And I think that I've taken a lot of his learnings, and I think that I've developed my career always basing that whenever I go to a job interview, I'm interviewing you just as much as you're interviewing me. So
Wow.
I think that it's influenced my whole career, which is one of the things that eventually led me to the UK. So
Wow.
I definitely have to say one of my first bosses.
I hope he watched this interview, so he's gonna be very happy to know that.
Thank you, Jorge.
Next question. Before the next question, Benja, I would like you to tell me what's the biggest difference between both of you?
Oh, the biggest difference. I think that the biggest difference is that when I'm upset, I completely shut down. Whereas Ben likes to talk about things.
I want to get stuff done straight away.
Yeah, and I want to be left alone. And I close down, I shut up, I don't want to talk. I think that's probably our biggest difference.
I think it's very interesting saying that, Benja, because as I'm originally from Brazil, we have this Latin way of sometimes be closed, and actually saying that my second boyfriend, he's English, and we are very good friends now. When I look back, I remember he was pushing me like to talk, to put it out, talk about, let's not hide under the bed. Let's talk about, let's face it, what's going on there is visible. So it's something that I've learned with my ex-English boyfriend. I think he was very straightforward and he made me talk, and I'm so grateful to that as well, because it's very, you know what I mean? If you have something, let's talk about, let's see what's going on. Let's, you know what I mean? Make out something out of it. We tend, the Latin people, not everyone, we tend to kind of hide a little bit, you know what I mean? No express, showing.
I think that I'm a little bit afraid of the Latin fire, you know. I think that in the heat of the moment, I'm afraid that I'm going to say something that I'm going to regret later. So I kind of shut down and prefer to be left alone, to calm down. Before I do that. But I completely see your point, and to be fair, I think that we do try to push each other in the right direction. And whenever we are under these situations, Ben does push me to say, you know what, just let's calm down, but let's talk about it, and let's talk about it now, and let's get it sorted.
Ben, and the question is, what's the biggest similarity between both of you?
I think we have the same sense of humor, which I think is really important. We laugh at the same things, and I think we have the same morals as well. And I don't just mean in like what we want to achieve out of life and that kind of thing, but how we actually approach life and how we view our relationships and with our friends and our family. We are sort of entwined on that.
Very good. Next question. Let's start with you, Ben. Now, what is something you always want to do but you're scared of?
Oh, well, I really want to go swimming with sharks, which absolutely terrifies me. Not so much the sharks, just the kind of underwater experience. But hopefully, fingers crossed, COVID permitting, we might do that later this year. So I'll get back to you on that and let you know how it went.
And why do you think, why you were scared of it? Just because of the animal itself, the shark?
No, it's not the sharks, it's the other stuff in the water. Like I have a mild phobia of fish, not necessarily sharks. Just the way that, I think sharks have got kind of a, I don't know, in my head, like sharks look normal, if that makes sense. But other animals in the sea, like fish, octopus, all that kind of stuff, I think it's perhaps the way they move, you know, like why people don't like spiders and things like that. But yeah, my friend recently went on a diving holiday and she came back and she showed me like these videos of like moray eels and things like that. And I was like, no. I'm strangely fascinated to it at the same time. It's kind of weird. It's a weird kind of juxtaposition. Very good.
Benja, next for you now. What is the biggest risk have you ever taken?
I think that the biggest risk that I have ever taken was moving to the UK. I think I had a good life back in Argentina. I was professionally successful. So dropping everything and literally putting my life in a suitcase and arriving in the UK is definitely the riskiest thing I've ever done, ever. I still don't regret it whatsoever. It's the best decision I've ever made. It brought me here to him, so no regrets.
Oh, sweet. Next question. Okay, let's start with Benja now. Next question is, oh, I love this question. Send away a message to someone, but you don't need to tell who this message is for.
Oh, okay. So you are in my thoughts every single day. And you have been one of the most special people that I've had in my life. You brought so much joy to my childhood, and your passing was one of the worst things that have ever happened to me, and I love you.
Oh, beautiful. I'm sure this message is gonna go and gonna get to the right person for sure. I got goosebumps now. My God, beautiful, powerful.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, let's go for Ben now. Ben, what does success mean to you?
I think happiness. I think success and happiness go hand in hand, and I think if you can be happy with your success, then you are successful.
Very good. I think being successful when you find your happiness in yourself, isn't it? I think that's the best part of.
Yeah, and I think, you know, growing up, if you'd have asked me this question when I was a teenager, I'd have been like, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to be known for something. Whereas I think as you get older, you just realise that actually success is in being happy in what you do. And I love what I do. I love my life. So yeah, that's success.
Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, I'd like to ask you both. Being a gay guy, did you always have the support of your family?
I did. Yeah. Actually, I was very, very fortunate. It's one of those things that I always say, I realize and acknowledge how fortunate I was. I come from a country where people are very religious as well, but I also think that I come from a country where people can separate their religious belief from the people they have in front of them. So I think that all of my family, my friends, and so on have always said, you know what, regardless of what religion tells me to think, I know you and I love you. So my family has always been very, very, very supportive. Coming out was, it's always stressful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's always really stressful. But I knew in the back of my head, as stressed as I was, that everything was going to be fine. I knew my family, they knew me. So yeah, I've been really blessed.
Yeah. And very, very similar experience to me. I think you're always going to have those difficult conversations, and, you know, I never, you know, you kind of think, oh, I need to tell my parents, I need to tell my immediate family, and then, you know, your grandparents and all that kind of, and it suddenly kind of snowballs. But yeah, I've been really blessed, and, you know, my parents, you know, all my family are definitely allies. So yeah, I couldn't have asked for it any other way.
And when you guys came out, when you said, okay, that's the moment now, there was something that happened in the past, or there was a situation that happened, or naturally you thought, okay, I'm going to just come out, it's the time now, it's the right time. There's something you can share? So
I told my brother when he was, and my brother's younger than me, and I told him probably when he was a bit too young to understand, and kind of told my mum as well at the same time. And it was kind of like, well, you know, have you tried being with girls? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And I guess I kind of knew, but I kind of wanted to go through that process to sort of, you know, I'm not saying that I went and tried to be with a woman, but, you know, I kind of went through that kind of process. And then, yeah, I sat my mum and dad down very soon before I went to university, and I said, look, this is me, this is who I am. And they already knew, but it was a proper coming out. Like, I sat down with them and we talked it through.
And I think that for me, again, this message that I've sent a little bit earlier, which is to a very special person who passed away when I was a teenager, it kind of made me, I never had the opportunity to tell them I was gay. So it kind of made me think about my family, and I felt like I owed it to them. I felt like I wasn't being honest with my family, and again, because I was so sure that my family loves me, whatever what, it just felt wrong to be dishonest.
I see.
And that's what prompted it for me.
Yeah, I think all of us, we have those moments like stressful, uncertainty. You don't know if it's the right moment. You don't know how people is going to take it. You don't know if you're going to pass the right message. But come on, I think all of us, one point, we need to face that and somehow. And I think I'm glad to hear that you guys being very supportive, because out there are so many people with tragic situations, you know what I mean, without any support. And I think it's good to hear that.
And you know what? And we say this all the time. We know people here in the UK that last year were kicked out of the houses for being gay. You know, we're talking about 2021, 2022. We're talking about today, and we're talking about Europe, the first world, however you want to class it. And it still happens. People still need support systems because they still not get the reactions that we were so lucky to get ourselves.
Yeah, and I think we never take that for granted as well. And we remind our family and those people who are close to us that, our journey is their journey as well.
Absolutely.
And it's great now because I know that my mum in particular has helped other parents who have been going on a similar journey, who have really struggled with it. And again, and my brother as well, it's really, really powerful when you think that these people are it's the true meaning of an ally, is what I'm saying.
And it is very beautiful because it happens in my family as well. It's like your own family, your own support system is out there, sort of not necessarily putting themselves to those situations, but when they come in those situations, they do become real advocates for you, and they try and help educate others.
Absolutely.
To support them.
I think as well, our job is very just to educate people, even our family as well, because we need to put ourselves in their shoes as well, because of, like, let's say, religion, society, you know what I mean? They have a way of they being, raised or grow up with that. And sometimes they don't understand very much. For them, it's like, in the end of the day, they want to protect us as well. So there's a lot of things involved that sometimes we need to educate and put ourselves in their shoes and try to understand and educate them, like, slowly, or try to, to pass the message, the right message.
And if you can imagine, I studied engineering. I worked in manufacturing industries most of my career, so I've always been in very sort of not just male-dominated environments, but very macho environments. So for a lot of my friends in uni, for example, I was the first out gay man they've ever met in their lives.
Wow.
And the same with a lot of colleagues. So that educational piece is actually fundamental. Because again, people have those concepts of gay people, these prejudgments of gay people, and then you're there to bust that bubble and to say, well, actually, there's a whole array of people is people at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And by the way, it just made me remember now a situation. Before the next question, I'd like to share a situation with you. I had an interview last year with someone from Texas in the US, and he was 19. He had just one brother, and he told me, I found fascinating story how he came out. He said that every Christmas, his parents and his brother, so his parent treat was to travel somewhere around the world. That was their treat. That was their Christmas presents between them. And they had a rule between the families. They could give each other a present no more than $10. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this specific person, he's a lawyer. His name is Ryan. He said, William, so I was 19. You were, I think, in Mexico on the Christmas day. So what he did, I found fascinating. He bought 3 gay movies DVD about gay people, different kind of movies about gay, for his brother, for his mom, and for his dad. I found very brave what he did. Anyway, Christmas Day, they were sitting in the living room, and it was his turn to give away the presents. So he stand up and he said, "Okay, I've got a present for you, for my, for his dad, for his mom, for his brother." So they start to open the presents, and they kind of realized that was a gay movie. You know what I mean? Like different stories or different, gay movies. And he said, "Okay, and I'd like to say that I am gay." Merry Christmas, everyone. I just found so brave because it was a very special occasion. You know what I mean? Like, my God, it's going to be forever. They will always remember about that situation. And he told me that, anyway, so of course, there were some tears, there was some, you know what I mean, conversation. And his brother said, okay, so let's go to the living room now to have a talk and to play some cards, just to break a little bit the tense moment.
Yeah.
I found so fascinating, creative as well. So how many people now, I mean, all of us, we find a way to find ourselves to tell our parents or our loved ones. I just found fascinating.
Yeah, I think if I could come out again, I'd want to come out of a giant pink cake or something like that. I'd be like, who doesn't love cake? And me coming out of a cake, it's like double the fun.
I can imagine you doing that. Very, very much.
Ben, you are just giving ideas for people watching the interviews. So they're gonna start now.
You can have that for free.
They're gonna make comments under the video. You know what? You encouraged me to do that, and now I came on because of you this way. Beautiful. Benja, next question for you is: what's your parents did that comforted you the most as a child?
Oh, that comforted me the most. To be fair, I suppose that's one of the reasons why I'm fat, I suppose, but it's food. In my family, food is comfort. So it's kind of those things that is when you were feeling down or when you're not feeling yourself, oh, here you go, here's this treat. I know that you like this meal, so I cooked this meal for you. So it's kind of like a hug in the form of food. And that explains what happens when I get into a scale now.
And do you like cooking? I mean, of course you do. You said already that you got a bad heart if you're cooking without you cooking. So yeah.
I love cooking. I have a sausage maker. I make my own sausages. I make my own pasta, my own pizza.
Wow.
I do cook a lot.
Ben, you are so lucky.
Yes, and I do the desserts. So yeah. So if it's sweet, that's my domain.
Very good. Okay, Ben, for you now, if I would ask your best friend right now to define yourself in one positive word and one negative word only, what your best friend would say?
I think, well, I hope she would say for positive, loyal. For negative, I don't know. She'd probably say anxious.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can see that.
Our friends, our best friends, they know very well, sometimes better than ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes too well, I think.
They cross the line, yeah?
Yeah.
Next question. Next question, let's start with Ben now. Ben, what makes you the happiest?
Holidays. Traveling. I love traveling. Obviously, apart from Benja.
Thank you. I mean,
he was like that. His face was like that, going down.
Yeah. So it's Benja. Then number 2, caramel shortcake, which is the most incredible. It's like a biscuit with caramel and then chocolate on top. It's amazing. And then traveling.
Saying that, have you managed to visit Argentina already or not?
Yeah, so we went literally the Christmas just before COVID. So we spent 3 weeks. We had about 2 weeks in Benja's hometown, Rosario, in Argentina, and I met all his friends, all his family. In fact, we got off the plane at 2:00 in the morning, and by 9:00 in the morning, we were going to a bakery to buy pastries to go around to his friend's house who were throwing us a barbecue. It was amazing.
Oh.
And then we had a few days in Buenos Aires as well, and we had a tango lesson, and yeah, it was just amazing. It was just the best holiday ever. So yeah, I can't wait to go back.
And we finished it with a couple of days of relaxing in Rio.
Yeah, we flew via Rio de Janeiro. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So, yeah,
wow.
We had we stayed in a hotel, and they had access to because you know how all the beaches are kind of private, sort of. You have to pay to go on the beaches, and we just purely by chance, the beach that was affiliated to our hotel was the Bear Beach on Ipanema. So yeah, we had a great time, didn't we? We met loads of nice people, and we got invited to a club night in what was it called, Television or something like that?
Oh, I can't remember the name.
It was a great, really good club night. So we had an amazing time. Amazing.
Oh, I'm glad to hear. Amazing. Benja, for you now, when have you been the most happy?
When have I been the most happy? I think that when I am the most happy, when I've been the most happy is, again, it's going to sound really silly, but when I did, so when I, after a few years after I came out, I got together with all of my family, and it was for Christmas, and it was a sudden realization. I don't know why it came to mind, and I looked around. I looked around my family, and I think, you know what? No one cares, and again, in a good way. It's like no one has an issue with it. They're all my family, and I think that again, realization that just confirmed that undying love that your family has for you. So I think that it was about 2 years after I came out. So I would have been 17, 18. I think that's probably the time that I've been the happiest. And of course, Ben, of course, you know.
Of course.
We have to say that.
Right, I have 3 questions left for you, okay?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Oh my God, I'd like to meet you one day for a dance. I can say you have very good
I love dancing.
We need to go clubbing.
Yeah, we do love that. We do love to dance, though.
Oh my God. Please invite me next time. I'd like to join you.
Yeah.
Before the next question, tell me what was the big inspiration for the podcasts and how everything started?
Yeah, so Bareback started less than a year ago. It's crazy to think that we started it in March 2021. We were still in the midst of lockdown here in England, and we really wanted to do something together. We've got lots of interests and lots of hobbies and things, but often they don't kind of meet, which is great because it means that we've got so many different things to bring to the relationship. But because we were literally at home, just us, well, and the cat, we wanted to do something together. And we've both done broadcasting before. I used to be a journalist, and Ben, he used to present a show back in Argentina. So we decided to do a podcast, but we didn't just want it to be us two chatting, because who wants to listen to that? So we thought, well, what is our USP? What's unique about us? Obviously we're gay, but there's lots of great LGBTQ plus podcasts out there, and we kind of narrowed it down, and we thought, well, actually, what makes us tick? And it's that cultural differences, that we've had relatively similar upbringings and we have similar values, but actually there are so many things that are different about us, and a lot of that is to do with the cultures that we come from. So that's essentially where Bareback came from. We're two bears looking back at the lives and the cultures that have shaped us and brought us together, and what makes us different. So whether that's how people drive in Argentina compared to the UK, the type of music you listen to, food, all that kind of stuff, and we kind of pepper that into stuff that we get into our stuff that we do in our daily lives as well. So
I mean, he's being awfully politically correct in this, so let's bring to the table, let's bring everything to the table.
What?
One of the main reasons we decided to do the podcast is we had an argument.
Oh my gosh, I did have this huge argument.
We had an argument because I did not know who Kate Bush is.
Oops.
And so my kind of comeback to that was, you are a gay man who is nearly 40 years old, and you don't know who singing sensation Kate Bush is.
To which, again, I kind of brought up the fact that actually what you think is a worldwide success, well, your definition of world is not as big as you think it is.
So we had an argument, and that was the only argument we had in all of the lockdowns, or the only big one anyway. We still bicker.
Yeah.
And we didn't speak for 3 days because of Kate Bush.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? We didn't speak for 3 days because of Kate Bush.
He was offended that I didn't know who Kate Bush. I was offended and said, why the would I have to know who Kate Bush is? I did not. We didn't speak for 3 days. And then suddenly we thought, you know what? This has been probably the worst and the silliest argument we've ever had. And we definitely thought, well, this is our podcast.
Yeah, that is the podcast, basically, in a nutshell.
Amazing. I'll let you ask something, Benja. Do you know Xuxa?
Oh, I love Xuxa.
Oh my God!
I absolutely love Shusha.
I'm a big fan of Shusha. I should ask because you know how big she is in Argentina as well. Shusha, it's my dream. Do you know Shusha, Ben? Do you know who Shusha is?
Well, actually, we talked about her in the podcast.
We talked about Shusha in the podcast. I introduced Ben to Hilarie.
Oh my God! I love Shusha. Shusha for me, every person who knows me, they know how much I love Shusha. I grew up listening to Shusha every single day. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. Shusha, Rainha de los Barritos.
Yeah, I know. I love Shusha.
Let's go now with Ben. Ben, what's your favorite guilty pleasure TV show?
Oh, guilty pleasure TV show. Well, the thing is, I say it's a guilty pleasure, but I don't even think it's that guilty. We love, and I'm speaking on behalf of both of us, A Place in the Sun. Now, for people who might not be from the UK, who don't know what A Place in the Sun is, it's basically where middle-class British people go abroad to places like Spain, Portugal. They're doing more long-haul stuff now. They go to Costa Rica and places like that, and they buy a house.
It's mostly Spain.
But they want to buy a house for about 25,000 euros. And then they see this house and they're like, well, it's got no pool. It's only got like half a bedroom. Like we want like literally like 5 floors and, you know, like a full on patio. And the presenter's like, well, you've got a 25,000 euro budget. I love it.
So it's basically a house hunting show from middle-class UK people who want to retire or have a holiday home. No, it's normally Spain, but they have done Portugal, France, and so on. But yeah, it's very unrealistic expectations, and that always makes you chuckle.
And as Ben Benja always says, I wonder if in Spain they have a program called Place Weather, and it's where Spanish people want to move to the UK. I don't think that will ever happen, but you know, why would you? But it's really fun because our sort of grand plan, if you like, our 20-year, 30-year plan is that we would love to be able to retire to Spain eventually. And I've said I'll only do that on the condition that we go on A Place in the Sun to find our Spanish home. And it'll be me and Benja, and we'll be there with like 25,000 euros. And then people at home will be throwing stuff at the television saying,
I want everything.
Stupid.
I want everything.
Stupid.
I want the pool. I want 7 bedrooms. I want 8 bathrooms for 10 euros.
I hope the producers of the show is watching this interview, so they're gonna contact you to do that, make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, I really hope so. And again, they have one of the presenters is called Ben, and it's kind of like my dream that is Ben, and Ben on the show.
There we go. The message is out there. Let's see the universe do this work. Next question for you now. Let's do Benja. What's the weirdest food combination have you ever tried?
Oh God, and we did this for the podcast as well. Where I tried some English or British delicacies, and the one that I tried that was just not great. So I had a combination. It was herring. It was pickled herring.
Yeah.
Which is a fish, and it was and Ben served it with what's it called, bow brill, which is basically like a soup, or it's like a tea-like drink, but it's made out of beef drippings, like made out of. So it's more like a stock soup rather than a drink, but here they drink it as tea apparently.
I see.
That was definitely probably the weirdest combination. That fish and beef drippings, no. Sorry, but no.
I'll leave it there for now. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, let's start with Benja now. Next question is, what's the best part of living in the UK, in your opinion?
I think that it was a great surprise. I think that as Latin American, you tend to, because we're very touchy people, you tend to think that people here are colder. But actually it's the opposite. People here in the UK have been so nice, so helpful. They've been so lovely. The fact that they don't hug and kiss as often as we do in Latin America doesn't take away from how brilliant they are, how good they are. So I would say the best part of living in the UK is definitely the people.
Good.
That's nice.
I know.
Oh,
Lovely, isn't it?
That's really sweet.
He smiles like that. Ben smiles like, oops. Okay, Ben, it's for you now. Tell us a funny story or a moment that happened to you when you were a child at school.
Oh, when I was a child. Well, that's a really good question. I'm sure there's loads. I don't know why I can't think of them off the top of my head. I know when I was. Okay, this is a good one. So it's not technically when I was at school though, but I was a child. And do you remember in the old days when you used to go to the fun fair and you could win a goldfish in a bag? Do you remember? Like, you can't believe that used to happen. And I won a goldfish in a bag, and we took it home, and my parents bought a little tank, and we had this goldfish, and it was swimming around, and it was really, really happy. And it was called Chips, I think, as in fish and chips. Very British, very on brand. And it died. Because they never lasted more than like 2 days. I mean, I think they were like programmed to die. I don't know, it's awful. And my parents thought it would be really, really clever because they knew I'd be really upset. Instead of telling me, they put a carrot in the fish tank that was meant to simulate the fish.
I had the same face you have right now when he told me.
Until they could go out and...
I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to understand. Work it out.
So I said to my parents, why is there a carrot in the fish tank? And they were like, oh, no, it's not. It's chips. It's fine. And I was like, no, that's definitely a carrot. And then obviously they had to admit that chips had died in the night. And yeah, they hadn't had a chance to go to the pet shop to buy a replacement. So there you are.
But why the carrot?
Well, it's orange, isn't it? It's like the same colour as the goldfish.
They try to pass a piece of carrot as a goldfish. I mean, that says a lot, doesn't it?
I remember quite a lot of stuff from around that time. We went on holiday to Wales and I found a stone on the floor and I decided to throw the stone at a car to see what would happen. Not because I'm a malicious person, just because I was interested in the physics of it. And of course it smashed the car window. But no one noticed. I think my parents were, I don't know, my mum was changing my brother's nappy or whatever. I don't know. They didn't notice at the time. Obviously, we were all together. And when I got home, my parents had won like a train set. And I love trains. Like, that is my passion, trains. I'm a massive train spotter. And they'd won this train set on the bingo at this holiday camp that we were staying at. And my parents presented me with this train set and I broke down in tears and I said, I don't deserve this train set because I smashed the car window. And I'd obviously been thinking about it from the moment it happened, the entire holiday, that, you know, actually I have got one from school. This is really bad. And this, again, I think this is where my anxieties come from, because a lot of the stories that I have from when I was younger are quite angst-ridden.
You were an angsty kid.
So we had this playing field out the back of my primary school, and there was a hole in the fence. And me and a friend were like, let's go and investigate. And we sort of crept over to this hole, and we looked through the hole, and there was a woman sunbathing naked. And I was like, you know, like being like 11 years old or something, like, and she heard me and she turned around and she saw me. And for months after that, I literally thought she was going to come round to the school and report me for like spying on her. When of course, in reality, if that happened now, you'd be like, she was probably more embarrassed. But it was hilarious. Like literally as we were running away, she was like hammering in like some wood that she must have found in the shed so we couldn't see it. But yeah, so there you are. There's 3 stories there.
Good one. Very good memories for sure. What's let's say a happy childhood?
Yes, a very happy childhood.
Very good. Ready for the last one?
Ready.
Let's do it.
Oh, who is that?
Carry on, Ben. I like it.
I didn't like the robot.
Yeah, why are you doing that?
I'm trying to vogue, but I clearly can't.
Before the last question, I would like to ask you both. Through that, this 2 years of challenge regarding the COVID crisis, what's the most, let's say, positive thing you took out of this challenge journey so far?
Oh, I think that I don't know if you agree, but
yeah, I know what you're going to say.
It's our neighbours. So what happened is before COVID, we kind of said hello to the neighbors, but we haven't really met any of them, with the exception of a couple of sisters that live across the road. But we didn't really know everyone. And here, basically once a week, we would go out. Everyone would go out to the street and clap for the NHS, for the health service. It was like this thing just to show our support. And basically from there, people started talking, and then very quickly got warm. So suddenly, because we were locked down, we couldn't do anything. We would just sit like on the curves, just having a beer and just chatting with the neighbors.
To our neighbors on the other side of the road.
And then that progressed into a street party that happened spontaneously when it could. And then actually on one day, it was on a Monday, we were all saying, well, we really need to do something, because that street party was really good. We need to do something similar. And Ben happened to mention that Birmingham Pride had been cancelled and was meant to be that weekend. So everyone said, well, let's do Pride. So from Monday to the Saturday, we organised a Pride parade on a road.
Oh, wow.
All of our neighbours got together. They all bought like rainbow things. We had a lucky dip from one of the bins. All of the children sort of painted the banners and the sign. We bought bunting and put bunting on the road. And that Pride was just amazing. All of our neighbours, different cultures, different nationalities, everyone on the road really rallied behind it, to the point that we did it again last year. So we did the second Pride a little bit more organised. And we do the shortest Pride parade in our area, which is basically a road.
Wow.
We just walk up and down the road a couple of times.
There's not many houses on our street, so it's like, and we're a cul-de-sac, so you literally walk to the end and walk back. I think we did it twice because it was that short.
But everyone cooked something. So one of the neighbours did a rainbow cake, and I made some sausage rolls, and some. Then people brought out the barbecues and brought out some meats. It was just. Everyone was wearing rainbow colors, so all of our neighbors, the children, it was absolutely brilliant. With all of the negative and all of the awful things that have happened during the COVID pandemic, there has been some extremely positive things, and the way that we bonded with the neighbors, and the way that they supported us during Pride, because we're the only LGBTQ people in our street. The way that everyone just instantly rallied up behind it and organised a brilliant event.
And I think as well, that sense of community, obviously now things are unlocking a lot more. In fact, well, there's no restrictions essentially in the UK now. But that community is carried on, you know, despite the fact that we're all kind of doing our own thing now, we can go out and about and stuff like that. And even like, you know, in the intervening periods when, you know, if one family has had COVID, like we've all kind of rallied around and said, you need to do shopping and all this kind of stuff. So people have never wanted for anything, have they? Yeah. And if it can be something simpler, whereas, oh, I've forgotten the milk for my baby's bottle on the night and stuff like that. And I know it's not a massive thing, but it's something that we didn't have before. And the fact that community spirit is still there, we're really, really lucky. I don't think we'll ever get it anywhere else we live.
Yeah, I think it's a very unique thing. It's one of those things that you kind of don't want to move out, because you know that you're not going to get the same thing anywhere else. It's absolutely magical.
And I totally agree with you. You know what? You just said something very interesting. Imagine if it become like a tradition and now people's going to follow every year. Do you know what I mean?
I know. Who knows? No. Watch this space.
Well, we are organising Pride 3 already.
Yeah, we will do it. We will do it this year. And hopefully, you know, if restrictions are, you know, remain the same, we might be able to invite some people who don't live on the street, you know, so because we won't need to be socially distant. So who knows? Watch this space.
Oh my God. Imagine, you're talking about that, I just could see that growing, big, like a big tradition. Imagine both of you like in a big car talking about, like, oh, 10 years ago we started that, and now it is like the attraction of the city. Imagine how amazing. You never know.
You never know.
Ben, for you now, last question. What is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
Well, I grew up in Yorkshire, North Yorkshire. I grew up in York, which is a city in the northeast of England. And if you come from Yorkshire, you're proud of where you come from. So I think for me, Yorkshire will always be somewhere where I'm really proud. I'm proud to have come from there. I'm proud of what it's produced. Obviously, it's produced me. So I guess for me, that's probably, where I'm at my most happiest. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Last question for you now, Benja. What makes you laugh out loud?
Silliness. It's like sometimes we are just in bed before going to sleep.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, no, I will. I wouldn't find those things as silly.
You were like, I see Ben naked and I laugh. Oh, thanks.
And Ben will do something really silly, but something like literally he'll be just something as simple as suddenly turning around, looking at me in the face and say, boo. And we'll just both start cracking up and we both start laughing. And we feed each other in that way. So suddenly it gets to a point where I say, you know what, stop it. I really want to go to sleep now. Stop it. And I turn around and I kind of like laughing under the covers because I know that he's looking at me. And I know that he's laughing as well. And I just can't stop laughing. And last time we probably spent about 20 minutes just laughing hysterically. About nothing.
But we probably didn't even remember what we started laughing at in the first place. It's just so infectious laughter, isn't it?
I was trying to remember what was the thing that you did last time, and I can't remember. All I can remember is the 20 minutes of just laughing aimlessly. Oh, I remember which one it was. So there was a viral video here about this woman who's in the Shard in a building, a very fancy building in London, the tallest building in London, and she's sending a video message to her friend, and she's like this very posh lady, and she's saying something like, and here we are from the Shard, how are you? Are you looking great? Loving your face. And he kind of makes that expression when she said it, and it became viral here in the UK. And last time it was just Ben turning over, and just from nothing, he just looked at me and says, loving your face. And it's one of those things that we just, when you tell it, it just sounds really stupid. But we just started laughing, and we spent the next 20 minutes just laughing at that.
Oh, sweet. That's what the relationship make interesting, when you can make other person laugh. I think that's the very genuine way of keep a relationship in a good path.
And that silliness is what makes you happy, isn't it? It's maintaining that silliness, that you're not taking yourself very seriously.
No, we don't.
Very good. Good for you. Very good. Right, not the end yet. Okay, let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give out some words, and you just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Let's start with Ben now. One word for family.
Joy.
Ben?
Oh, it's still doing family.
Yeah.
Precious.
How about money, Benja?
Love it. I know it's 2 words, but...
One word for money, Ben?
An enabler.
Let's start with Ben now. One word for love.
Ben.
I think he was starting with me.
He's just thinking. It
was my question. You're saying Ben. You're telling me that I need to say Ben. Benja.
No, I'm saying that you're my word for love.
Yeah, but the question was to me.
Oh, well, I answered it.
I love it.
This is problem when you're in the same name couple.
When you have the same name, that it happens. It gets confusing at times.
Okay, so let's go to Benja now. Benja, one word for love.
My word for love is Ben.
Sweet. Let's start with you now, Benja. One word for life.
For life?
Yeah.
Party.
Ben, life?
Disco.
Let's go now with sex. Ben.
Oh.
Heat.
Passion.
Okay. One word for politics. Ben.
Boring.
But yeah, boring.
Okay. How about religion? Ben.
Faith.
Benja?
Belief.
Okay. How about fear? Benja.
Oh, one word for fear. Unknown.
No, I was going to say that. Darkness.
Okay. Let's start with Ben now. One word for friendship.
Essential.
Benja?
Loyalty.
Okay. How about desire? Ben.
Benja.
See what he did there?
Benja, desire?
Passion.
Okay. Let's start with Benja now. One word for regrets.
Silence.
Ben, one word for regrets.
Oh, I'm trying to think what the first word is coming to mind, but it's not coming to mind. Sadness.
Okay. Let's start with you again. One word for success.
Happiness.
How about you, Benja?
To be fair, it's the same. It's happiness. It's about that.
Okay. Benja, let's start with you now. One word for wish.
Hope.
How about you, Ben?
Lottery.
Okay, Ben, let's start with you now. One word for happiness.
Love.
How about you, Benja?
Everything.
Okay. Benja, let's start with you now. One word for Argentina.
I think I don't have a word. It's that. It's just.
Ben, one word for England.
Again, it's really hard, isn't it? Tea.
With milk or without milk?
With milk. I'm not a savage.
Of course. I love it. Okay, let's say now. Okay, Ben, let's start with you. I would like you to define Benja in one positive word and one negative word only. What that would be?
I mean, this is really tough. Like, there's so many words that I could describe you as.
Good and bad.
You are everything. I mean, you are everything to me. So I think I would have to say everything. And I know that's a tell-all, a catch-all phrase, but you are. Stubborn would be your negative one.
Ooh.
To be fair, I would agree.
Yeah. Benja, so now let's go to you now. What's the most? Let's put the question a different way. What's the most beautiful thing about Ben, and what's something that he still needs to improve on? What do you think you'd say?
Nothing.
So I think that his energy is definitely the best thing about Ben. That the energy he radiates is just amazing. The thing that he needs to work on is his time management.
I knew that was coming.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally, we need to be somewhere that's an hour away, and if it's to Ben, we will leave at the time that we should be there.
Ben, I'm so surprised. Very English. Where's the English time?
Yeah, I'm not really very English though, am I?
Well, time management, no.
I love tea and I love fish and chips, but my time management, no, I ain't English.
You've been 2.5 hours late for things.
No, I think you're taking the mick a little bit.
Ben, do you think there is some work in progress so far?
I mean, I think he's progressed a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit. But yeah, no, there's still a long way to go.
Instead of 2.5 hours, it's now 2 hours only.
More or less, yeah.
Don't encourage him.
Oh dear. Let's play now. Ben and Benja and the magic box, and you both can ask me a question. But before now, would you like to go first? Ask me a question.
Me.
Hey.
I love to ask people this question because I think it says a lot more about people than what they give credit for. What Spice Girl are you?
Oh my God, you put me in the spot now. Which Spice Girl am I? Okay. Right. You know what? Okay, I know which one. I'm very confused about the names. Mel C is the black one. Mel C or Mel B.
Mel B.
Mel B. I'm connected with her, and I'll tell you why. When I see them like performing, or you know what I mean, on stage or whatever, I don't know why, but there is something about her, the energy. She got so much energy. I don't know if I'm wrong, but when I look at them, like, they're beautiful, they're amazing. They, you know what I mean? They got the show going on, but for some reason, she sticks out about energy. There's something there going on that she just explodes. You know, she gets all the attention about this energy. And I don't know, I'm very energetic. When I see her, I'm like, my God, you know what I mean? And there is something there. I think that, yeah, I'll go for her for sure.
You know why? You know why she's got so much energy?
No, tell me why.
She's from Yorkshire. People from Yorkshire are the best.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You see, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
How about you, Benja? Now you can ask me a question.
So, what I want to know is, what is it that you feel when you post one of your any of your videos? So, what is it? The interviews that you make, like this one, how do they make you feel?
I love the question. My God, amazing. Right. Do you know when you I'm sure you both must know that, because you know, I can see when you talk about the podcast, I can see the energy and the joy coming through the video. I feel like I forget about everything about the words. You know what I mean? I forget everything. You know, when I'm connecting, it's very interesting, the question, because when I need to record, like, just myself, like introducing the guest, or, you know, in the end of the show, I need to do like 3-4 times, because I get so nervous. Believe it or not, I'm very shy, and I get very nervous. I know what I mean? I go like, oh, welcome to the Magic Box, and I don't see myself. But when I'm doing the interview, I really forget that I'm recording. I forget everything. I'm talking. I'm connect with other friends. You know, I feel like talking to a friend. Mm-hmm. And this energy, for me, it's, if I would see somebody else doing what I'm doing right now, I would feel like, oh my God, I'd love to be doing that, because I'm so fortunate. I'm so lucky that this idea came along, you know, in the dark side of 2020, when the world went upside down, because I was trying to find my way in life. I was trying to find something that's, you know, that's something that's I'm meant to do. And it's the energy, it's everything. As soon as when I press the button, like when I send the request and I receive the message to accept the call and the video, believe me, I just my eyes are shining just to see the other side, the person who is going to be, how it's going to be, and you have no idea how happy I feel. Imagine. That's my answer.
And it shows, and that's the thing. I think your energy really comes across, even through a camera, without being in the same room. Your energy still comes across.
Oh, thank you so much. And I must say as well that just connect with both of you now is a pleasure, because it's so nice to see a gay couple, you know, like with this connection, you know, sharing those moments, and you know what I mean, in life, this energy between both of you. I think it's a good match, like someone from South America, someone from Europe, you know what I mean? There's so much to share. And I think people who, you know, who participate or watch your podcast, I think when they listen to those stories and those moments, it's so genuine, you know what I mean? I can see the genuine there, you know what I mean? You don't make it up, just like it's yourself. It's a beautiful match. I just hope you both enjoyed the interview. Did you like the experience?
Yeah, it went so quickly.
I know. It was so good. To be fair, I was a little bit nervous because we normally record the podcast. We're kind of behind the microphone. You cannot hide behind the microphone, you know. Whereas here, being on camera, it's quite different. So I was quite nervous, but yeah, it went really quick. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that you both took the time. I know you must be very busy doing your normal days, but I feel appreciate nowadays people, we are so busy with our lives, mm-hmm. that when somebody gives attention, like a special moment, I think I feel very grateful, because, you know, we have so much to do in our lives right now. So thank you very much for taking the time for the interview.
Thank you for having us.
But just before you leave, I would like to share a positive message or a positive quote, something that inspires you in life.
Well, my positive quote comes from a Kylie Minogue record, and it's in French. And it says, Vous êtes jamais seul, vous savez ce qu'il faut faire. Ne laissez pas tomber votre nation. La disco a besoin de vous. And the translation of that is basically, you'll never be alone. You know what to do. Don't let down your nation. Your disco needs you.
Ooh, amazing! I love it. Benja, your time now.
Oh, mine is going to be British, and I think Ben's going to laugh about it. But I love this phrase, and I love its meaning, and I love how in the UK is sort of seen as a kind of like a chavvy thing, but it's you do you, Bob. It's a silly phrase, but again, for me, it just embodies the, just extract yourself from everything. Just be yourself. Just you do you, and everything will be fine.
It's nice.
Absolutely. It's the only tool we can have is be ourselves, isn't it? It takes you to beautiful places and beautiful. Thank you so much for the interview. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. Obrigado.
De nada. Thank you so much, and keep in touch, and good luck with the podcast. Thank you so much. Okay, keep in touch, and I hope to see you one day.
Thank you.
We will.
We will soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Ciao. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why do you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.